Hello everyone and welcome back to the finale of Season 1 of our F1 24 My Team Career Mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a couple of days ago from Qatar, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. But we have finally made it to the end of our first season. We've had some highs, we've had some lows. It's certainly been a mixed bag over the course of the campaign, but I would love to try and finish with a good result today, of course. Taking a look at the drivers' standings, obviously Verstappen is your Formula 1 World Champion. We're basically locked into P10 with 81 points to our name. Constructors-wise, though, we could theoretically beat Alpine. We would need a massive result, though, to finish off the year as well. So it looks like we're pretty locked in both of the championships. Ferrari versus Mercedes is still a battle raging on right to the end of the year, though, as well. And, well, Lando Norris, Carlos Sainz tied. Perez and Alonso 3 points in it as well. There are definitely still battles up and down the field. I would love to see Awasa score, but I'm not optimistic that is going to be the case before the end of the year as well there. But I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you for the continued support in this series. I believe we have got all of the upgrades done now on the car ready for Season 2. So hopefully that is going to give us a big boost to performance as we head into the next campaign as well. But yeah, for one final time then here in Season 1, let's head out onto the track in Abu Dhabi. Well, as we make our way then out into free practice, I'll be honest, yeah, looking around the Abu Dhabi track, could rain. It might have rained recently. It looks very, very overcast around the venue, which is a little bit peculiar. Obviously, you know, last round of the season, I'm tempted just to put a whole fresh power unit in the back of the car, depending on how we get on in qualifying, simply because obviously, yeah, we haven't really got much to fight for, and that we're going to need basically a miracle if we want to get the jump on Alpine again. Kind of a little bit gutted that obviously, you know, the balance, the BOP change, not really BOP, the performance update for them obviously came just early enough, and that they've really been able to overhaul us in the second half of the year, despite how hard we've tried. At least I know that we're going to be ahead of both their drivers in the driver's title, though, as Verstappen actually spots me, and it's not often I see the AI do good blue flags. Really, really difficult to find a balance around Abu Dhabi. This first run has not been the one. I've only gone and made some very subtle tweaks to the car, just a little change to the aero and the toe and things like that, and it seems to have made a world of difference here as we head out into our qualifying sim run. 8 tenths up at the moment. Have we finally discovered something in this car? Admittedly, maybe too late in the season. It would certainly be nice. Not if I take lines like that, but somehow again, haven't really lost any time. This gives us a whole lot more confidence as we prepare ourselves for qualifying. 6 tenths up at the final corner.
But that wasn't much help to us, I'm afraid. We need to run it again.
Well, that's a disappointment then. How does that not work?
Welcome to qualifying. It is time to have some laps at the limit in Abu Dhabi.
Well, I've opted to avoid taking grid penalties then here, just in case we do actually have some decent qualifying pace. Of course, overtake mode is back in full usage. But, yeah, I really, you know, I think that was just a bit of a glitch, because I had a look afterwards as well, and the R&D graph was completely up in the purple. It didn't drop off right at the end, so I think F1 24 just doesn't want me earning any R&D points right towards the end of this first season. Clearly, all the other teams view me as a threat and have lobbied to EA and Codemasters there, but as we make our way out into qualifying, we've got to try and get a good lap under our belt. We're going to try and use most of our battery by the end of the second straight. There is 210 miles an hour. Way too much oversteer into the first part of the chicane, but it will be allowed to roll on the throttle early on the second part. Going to make our way down this second of the straight, get down to 10% battery, and then, yeah, basically we're just going to try and use it out of the final couple of turns. On through the final couple of corners, I must admit, I do still absolutely prefer the new version of Abu Dhabi than the old one. Hamilton, top of the board. We only go just over a second away, though, which, to be honest, is pretty good going. We've got a fresh set of boots then on the wagon, ready for our final qualifying lap of the year here. P15 at the moment, but there are still a couple of drivers behind me that you would expect to go a whole lot faster.
Down into P15.
George Russell is definitely one of them, only down in 20th place. at the moment here at the end of his first run. But we're just going to try and be very, very frugal once again with the battery through part of this lap. It is just about trying to use it to give yourself that slingshot off of the corners there as braking down at the hairpin. Looks like, luckily for us, Alpine don't seem to have a whole lot of pace as well in their car at the moment. It's a 10th up as we make our way out onto the back straight. Again, well over 200 miles an hour. This thing has got so much speed right up towards the top end. Want to try and break at the 100-meter board, and that time round we really were good with the cadence braking and allowed the car to rotate itself into the apex. 4/10 up as we head out onto the second of the back straights. This time round we're going to really drain the battery, try and claim any advantage we possibly can there, and purple through the middle sector. So we are clearly not running much wing around this venue, and it is working for us at the moment. Just a handful of corners to go as we make our way back down under the hotel. Just keep it planted. It's so easy just to get some oversteer through these final couple of corners then. It's just understeering slightly as we make our way in towards the penultimate corner of the lap. Just trying to drain the battery everywhere. Make sure we get all of the usage out of it. Plenty of curve through the final corner. 4/10 clear. It's P12. It's not bad. I'll be honest, I'm pretty happy. Well, there we go. I think that might be the first time I personally have tied with an AI on this game. Daniel Ricciardo there and myself, inseparable by the end of Saturday's running. Alpine, though, 13th for Esteban Ocon, 18th for Pierre Gasly. I'm a little bit gutted that Sargent was so far ahead of Iwasa by the end of the session there. I don't think Ayumu really got a clean, tidy lap on the board. But again, P5. We need P5 here if we want to beat Alpine.
It's time then for one final race in this year's Formula One World Championship. 2010 saw 4 drivers in contention for the title coming into this race, with Sebastian Vettel prevailing to become the youngest world champion today. Is the one last sting in the tail awaiting us today? It's time to find out in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We have 16 corners here at Yas Marina Circuit, 7 to the right and 9 to the left. It's a total lap distance of 3.28 miles, 2 long straights and overtaking opportunities throughout the lap. And we expect average lap speeds of around 123 miles per hour. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Fernando Alonso, Perez, Stroll, Oscar Piastri, Mr. Monaco, Verstappen, Tsunoda, Bottas, Hülkenberg, Sainz, Gasly, Albon, Norris, Sargent, Ocon, Zhou, Iwasa, Hamilton, Magnussen, and Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes, delighted to say that we're joined today by Anthony Davidson. Well, it's the last race of the season, but there's still plenty to prove out there. How important is getting the right mentality for this season closer?
Yeah, a lot of races to cover, but it's the same for the drivers. It comes at you thick and fast, and you've got to pace yourself as well to get to this point in the season. If it has gone your way, it's a great time to just enjoy it. There's nothing that can change in the championship pecking order, of course. If you've won the championship already, go out and enjoy this race and send yourself off through the winter break. If it's been a bit of a year to forget, you can try and take a bit of solace in this Grand Prix, end on a high and carry that energy into next season.
Right, mate, it's the final race of the season. There's nothing to lose here, so go out there and enjoy it.
Well, yeah, we haven't got anything we can really lose in terms of the championship standings, but we can gain that 1 place in the Constructors. All that extra prize money will go a long, long way for 212 Motorsports. It's a simple one-stop strategy. There are grid penalties galore, so we actually find ourselves lining up P7. A bit gutted for Lewis Hamilton. Obviously took that pole position to head into the final race with an opportunity, and has ended up lining up at the rear of the field anyway. So P5 is the position we are aiming for this afternoon, but obviously Alpine might find themselves up the order as well. It is 5 red lights here in Abu Dhabi, and it is going to be lights out, and away we go there. Alonso not getting off to a particularly good start, neither has Oscar Piastri though, as Verstappen, I think that is, trying to storm down the inside at turn 1. We aren't going to make it easy for him, though, in that Red Bull. Already obviously won the world title. So Alonso and Sergio Perez banging wheels just up in front. So both Red Bulls getting themselves in the thick of it here. Look at Lance Stroll, maybe waiting for an opportunity to try and pounce here as well. As all a little bit of wheel banging with Verstappen. You know what the Dutchman's like for just trying to get a nose in anywhere he possibly can there. But as we make our way out to the back straight, then Russell and Leclerc, both of them have had a pretty strong season up to this point. So I'm sure they'll be happy to take a bit of a break over the winter. But yeah, we've gained 1 place then off the start due to Oscar Piastri.
Okay, now stay alert for threats around you.
So Yuki Tsunoda has just gone round the outside of Verstappen then, so that's quite funny. A little way behind us, but yeah, we've got to try and obviously stick with these cars early on. We've really lacked pace in recent weeks, but Abu Dhabi, for whatever reason, seems to be working for us early on, so we've got to utilise that. I think Verstappen is a little bit hungry early on this evening, potentially fancies getting a run on me because he's using a lot of battery very early on. We're trying to do the same to keep him at bay. Annoyingly, I think Stroll has just about got enough pace to hang with his teammate Alonso. Otherwise, he would be rather easy pickings. But yeah, I can't believe we've almost completed 3 seasons between this and the driver career mode already. The game's only been out about 5 weeks. I do sincerely hope you guys are still enjoying the content. But yeah, well, there we go. I think Stroll's about to lose that range to Fernando Alonso just up in front of him. That gap opens up to about 1 second and a half, a tenth. So hopefully now, yeah, we're going to start seeing ourselves gaining in on Lance Stroll. The only problem I have got is, yeah, Verstappen is looking racy behind me. Obviously started a little bit further down the order than he would have wanted by virtue of those penalties. Here goes the Dutchman down the outside. But like I said, world title or not, I don't care. I'm prepared to fight him for this. And like I said, I mean, if Max gets ahead of me, my only concern is then he's just going to walk off. So we want to avoid that as best as we can. I mean, that Red Bull is just relentless every time, no matter how much battery I use. He always seems to be able to get the speed over me. Again, I'm going to get the elbows out, though, on the exit of the corner. Verstappen forced to back out of it. Annoyingly, though, all this has done is letting Lance Stroll get away, so I think Verstappen's about to sail past me. So might Yuki Tsunoda. They both get around me down at the end of the next straight, so this is really not working well at the moment. There's a bit of a gap behind Oscar Piastri. We'll just regroup, recharge the battery. Oh, there we go. You can see Verstappen up the road as well. Down the inside of Lance Stroll just 1 lap later. So unfortunately, yeah, the Dutchman is absolutely walking away. We've got to hope that Yuki can now stay in the range of Lance, but yeah, as we said, that P5 is kind of everything that really matters here. It's kind of P5 or bust. There's a huge gap as well that's opened up behind Carlos Sainz. I think that's to one of the Saubers, yeah, that is causing an almighty train a bit further back. So hopefully at the very least points are still doable. Well, annoyingly, I'm already starting to get Qatar vibes from this race. I just don't quite think we've got enough to keep up with a lot of cars. And this is kind of the horrible balance we have to find on this game between using the overtake mode in qualifying and not. If I do, then we kind of find ourselves a little bit higher up than we can really keep up with. If I don't, then we kind of find ourselves lower than we should be able to keep up with. So I really don't know what to do about it. There goes Piastri. There goes Sainz. So down to P10 then in this race. I mean, if we can just keep up with these guys, then I'm not too worried. Hulkenberg and Bottas fighting it out behind me. But it is just, yeah, trying to keep up with them is the issue. Oh, here we go. This could do us some favours. Sainz and Oscar Piastri now having a little bit of a battle. No, they don't. I mean, are they? I can't work out whether they're battling or whether they're just kind of giving each other space right now. But yeah, it does give us a little bit of a chance to recharge at the battery pack. But yeah, if we can stay in the range of these guys at least until the pit stop, I could be tempted to dive in a lap or two early and try to undercut. I think the other thing that annoys me as well is obviously once you lose the DRS to the AI, is how quickly then you drop away from them. We just missed out on the DRS to Piastri. But because it's so overpowered around this track with those 2 straights back to back, we've already lost over a second to him. Now I'm just worried that we're going to fall back into the clutches of the cars behind. We've got to at least finish the year with a point, surely. We've got yellows out. I think that's a Haas. I think that might be Kevin Magnussen out of the Grand Prix. Oh, so disappointment then for them. And the Dane in his final round of the season. Still don't know, obviously, whether he'll be keeping his seat ready for the next campaign. Magnussen, our first mechanical failure of the day. Don't think we'll see a safety car, though. Although the new Abu Dhabi circuit is much better than the old one, it can still seemingly provide quite lonely races sometimes. And so far, this one, I mean, we've basically either been going backwards or been by ourselves. We're going to try and dive into the pit lane one lap early to see if we can give ourselves a bit more breathing room from Gasly behind. It's actually the two cars behind Hülkenberg, though, of Norris and Hamilton, that I'm far more scared about here, because they're going to be rapid, as they've now been able to work their way through all of the back markers. There's none of our front runners into the pit lane then, so we are going to be the first car into the box so far tonight. Make sure we get it over the white line. Don't hit the pit lane wall on entry. Oh, that was close. We absolutely nailed that one. 48 miles an hour on the line as we watch all of the team scurry out of the pit box into the pit lane. Come on, nail it. We want a good pit stop to finish off the year. We've had a lot of rusty pit stops so far.
Okay, mate, that's it. Go, go, go. That was a fantastic stop. Faster than we were expecting. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
That wasn't bad, to be fair, as we try and make our way out of the pit lane. That was probably the most on-the-limit pit exit I've ever had here in the United Arab Emirates. But we've made it out clean and tidy. Well, loads of cars then into the pit, so we're going to move back past most of the cars we should do. There's Yuki Tsunoda, I think that is, re-emerging from the pit lane. Annoyingly, I think he's just going to stay in the range of his teammate Daniel Ricciardo. Not quite. But yeah, I mean, how on earth Tsunoda is that much faster than me here? V-Carb clearly have got a decent car around this track. There we go, most of the field then have pit in now, so as we get over half distance, we're going to have a rough idea of where we re-emerge in this Grand Prix. Hamilton and Norris might have got an undercut on Nico Hülkenberg here. Gasly was still going to be out ahead of as well. Oh no, it looks like Hamilton and Norris have got the undercut on both of them. So we've got a 4-second gap. Looks like Stroll's been screwed.
0.8 seconds.
We're a bit closer to Lance Stroll again, but yeah, we are just, I mean, we're going to be watching that gap to those two behind absolutely plummet. I'm watching that group of cars a little bit further up the road, and they seem to now just be tripping over each other a little bit more. Carlos Sainz has moved his way to the front, so I think Yuki Tsunoda was holding them all up just a little bit. So we've got more yellow flags out further back. That is one of those Alpines, so I think that might be Esteban Ocon that is out of the Grand Prix. Works well for me, at least that eliminates one of their chances at scoring points this afternoon. And Ocon, our second casualty of the night. Well, one of the advantages we seem to be facing at the moment by having the loneliest race I've ever had is that we are now starting to take a little bit of time out of those cars in front. And Hamilton and Norris aren't really gaining anything behind me either. Get to Stroll temporarily now under 3 seconds, so I'd love to get back inside the range. Unfortunately, yes, Sainz is gone, and I feel like the Mercedes of George Russell will be doing the same. But I would still take a battle with Piastri, Yuki, and Lance. But it seems like all of those cars up in front, they seem to be getting their ducks in a row at the moment, and now we're losing time again to everyone. They're just all slipstreaming off of the Mercedes of George Russell. Hamilton and Gasly, as well as Lando Norris behind me now. They seem to have worked out what they're doing again and are closing in as well. Charles Leclerc absolutely looks set to dominate this one come the end of the afternoon, as Alonso seems to be fighting now with both of the Red Bull cars. But yeah, I for a few laps I thought we might be able to move forward again. I think, yeah, if we get a point here, we should be quite happy. Oh no, engine warning lights just flashed up with 4 laps to go. Oh, don't give us a mechanical failure in the very last race of the season. We have managed to go through every race in this campaign without an issue. I think we've even finished every race this season as well there, which is quite an impressive feat, to be honest, for me. Normally I bottle it at least once over the course of a campaign, but yeah, no mechanical failures just yet. Please don't let that be the case here in Abu Dhabi. But we haven't genuinely raced a car now in nearly 20 laps. This might actually be the loneliest race I'll ever do.
Out for a bit of understeer when trailing the car ahead. They're going to be giving off dirty air, which is going to affect our tyres, so try to get past.
What car ahead, Mark? We haven't battled anyone pretty much throughout the entirety of this race. What car am I worried about getting some dirty air off of? Is he foreshadowing Norris and Hamilton now under 3 seconds away? 2 laps to go. I mean, yeah, I can't wait to see how short the edit is on this video. Rounding the final corners then to start the last lap of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It has been quite a topsy-turvy season, this race though. I cannot believe just how impossibly boring this final race has been. I mean, in many ways, I'm just happy that at the very least we're scoring a point out of it, at least as of right now. But Charles Leclerc, he has walked away and not looked back come the end of the afternoon tonight. Verstappen with some penalties, and obviously Hamilton as well, really to give the Ferrari man a window. And, well, yeah, he is absolutely romped away there. Looks like Alonso isn't going to finish on the podium either for Aston Martin. I think Verstappen has done enough right at the end. They're still battling in front. Stroll and Tsunoda, I can just see swapping places as Lando and Lewis just behind me might do the same. And on a weekend where Hamilton, you know, could be saying farewell to Mercedes, the fact that he's not going to be able to snooker away that win, I'm sure is a little bit disappointing there. Obviously, we'll go through, we'll find out what all the driver transfers are ready for Season 2 down the line as well. But as we make our way through the final couple of corners, highlight of the year, gotta be Australia. Such a ridiculous race, and to win just our 3rd ever round in this series as well was absolutely insane. Charles Leclerc, though, is going to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and maybe, just maybe, next season is going to be able to make a championship fight against Max Verstappen. But through the final corner, it's not going to be enough to upset Alpine, but it is P10. We get one last point.
The man from Monaco will win again. Charles Leclerc takes the checkered flag.
They've won the championship, and now they sign off in style as winning the last race of the season as well. Brilliant stuff by this driver today, and you carry that momentum through to next year as well, of course. So it's for all now to try and stop what they've created.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
Well, there we go then. Charles Leclerc wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Pole position. Didn't get fastest lap, interestingly, but he will walk away with the full 25 points there. Not that it makes much difference, but I'm sure he's happy to add an extra win to his tally. Verstappen in P2 ahead of Sergio Perez there, so despite actually starting further back, the Dutchman able to get the better of his teammate. Alonso, I'm sure, a bit gutted. He just didn't quite have enough to keep those Red Bulls at bay come the checkered flag there. Sainz beats Russell, Piastri, Stroll, Tsunoda. And yeah, I'll be honest, I'm happy that we can pick up one final point to finish off the campaign. Championship-wise, well, Max Verstappen, it is all the fours for the Dutchman in the end. Clearly referencing Lewis Hamilton come the end of the year there. A 76-point lead over Charles Leclerc. Russell hangs on to P3 ahead of a disappointing final race for Lewis Hamilton, who beats Perez and Alonso there. Sainz gets the jump on Lando Norris. Yeah, really both of those fights towards the end of the year kind of a bit curtailed by all those penalties. And yeah, Oscar Piastri beats out myself. If there was another round this season, which based on that one I'm happy there isn't, we couldn't beat anybody else. Now mathematically we couldn't lose, we couldn't gain come the end of the year. Gasly beats Stroll ahead of Ocon and Yuki Tsunoda, who gets the better of his teammate Daniel Ricciardo. Both kick Saubers there, 1 point between them. Unfortunately, yeah, their battle kind of was completely screwed by Sauber getting nerfed into the ground on this game. Albon makes it to double digits ahead of Hulkenberg, Ricciardo. Magnussen and Sargent score some points, and just Yuma Iwasa, who was unable to get out of the starting blocks in his rookie campaign there. Red Bull, the gap in the constructors, 97 points come the end of the year. Ferrari with that win get the better of Mercedes, with McLaren in 4th ahead of Aston Martin. Alpine beat ourselves there, only 9 points in it come the end of the year. And I think we had more points than all of the teams combined behind us there of Sauber, VCarb, Williams and Haas. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed. I'm going to take the weekend off. We're going to return on Monday with pre-season testing as well there. So yeah, massive thank you to everyone for the support throughout Season 1. And we'll be back very soon, ready for Season 2.